Let me ask you a very serious question. Is money making you sick? Well, if it is, you came to the right place. All you gotta do is stay tuned to the end of this video, and I promise you, you won't be sorry. And look, make sure you like, share, subscribe to JD's Network, the hottest channel on the planet, if you have not already, where I talk about fitness and everyday motivation, things you need in order to proceed. Alright, so look, let's go ahead and jump right into this video. I'll see you at the end. The stress of doing your taxes is likely behind you, but there are plenty of other money worries keeping people up at night. Half of the homeowners and renters are struggling to afford their monthly housing payments. Credit card debt is at $1.1 trillion nationwide, and it's at an all-time high. And progress in taming inflation is flatlined lately, leaving the price of everything from eggs to Uber rides up dramatically from pre-pandemic levels. So the pain in your back or the throbbing of your head or the churn in your gut you feel when you pay your bills and check your credit card balance. Science confirms that it's real, and there's a growing body of research documents the strong connection between financial anxiety and struggles with physical and mental health, particularly over a long term. And recent studies have linked money worries to anxiety and depression, pain, inflammation, heart disease, high blood pressure, headaches, insomnia, ulcer, back pains, arthritis, and asthma, amongst other elements, as well as a high risk of disability and early death. So, in fact, a study published earlier this year by a team of British researchers suggests that among serious life changes that people often face, including divorce, disability, caregiving, illness, and bereavement, financial strain is the most detrimental to your health. So the results, based on the analysis of protein and hormones in the blood of nearly 5,000 participants and a survey of aging, found that people under financial strain had a nearly 60% greater risk of developing serious health problems, higher than any other stressors examined. So your status is only one piece of the puzzle, says Carolyn McCullum, a financial planner in Jacksonville, Florida, who began her career as an emergency department doctor and still volunteers as a physician. So financially, stress cuts across every segment of society, and so do the health problems that come along with it. So being in debt has really affected my mental well-being. I worry on a daily basis. I don't sleep at night. I sometimes have had back pains and even stomach problems, all due to being stressed over finances. Sometimes I feel like a failure for taking out money and not be able to pay it back on time. I am anxious and lose sleep over it. So a sample of responses in a new study on the link between health and finances by the Financial Health Network, a Chicago nonprofit, shows that just how much people are hurting when it comes to their money. So the participants range in age from 18 to 65 and an annual income from less than 15,000 to more than 100,000. But they all share one common trait. They were stressed about money and their health was suffering in result. So we've been hearing about people having a hard time trying to keep up with rising prices or dealing with financial shock and being overwhelmed by debt, says Angela Fonts, the organization's vice president of policy and research. And the pandemic, which exacerbated mental health challenges for a lot of people, seemed to have made everything worse. So research confirms how big a health threat being in debt is, especially when the loans are unsecured, like credit card or medical debt. Compared to people with little or no debt, for example, borrowers with chronic or high debt are more likely to suffer from inflation and joint pain by age 50. And for that pain to interfere with work and other activities, people with medical debt are also 3 times more likely than others to grapple with mental health issues with anxiety and depression. So even just thinking about financial stressful things can be harmful to your health. According to a study from the University of Virginia and Columbia University, subjects were asked to contemplate different anxiety-provoking economic scenarios. So for example, living in a state with high unemployment or wondering if their college degree would shield them from job loss. Researchers measured the participants' pain level before and after the exercise, either as self-reported or by seeing how long they could keep their hands in a bucket of ice-cold water. The subjects reported more pain and lower tolerance after thinking about a shaky financial future. And the researchers concluded it physically hurts to be economically insecure. So why are money worries so detrimental to health? Scientists says the body's psychological response to stress is a key factor. So persistent stress and the feeling of being out of control trigger complex biological interactions, including the release of hormone, cortisol, and adrenaline into the bloodstream that interrupt normal body function. That over time can lead to inflammation or weakened immune system, elevated blood pressure, and overall long-term threats to good health. So behavioral responses to financial stress also play a role. When money is tight, for example, people often forgo visits to the doctor and medical treatment. Stress is also linked to unhealthy lifestyles, behaviors such as exercising less, drinking more, and eating junk food. So as health declines, it may interfere with an individual's ability to work, which can worsen financial problems. Lower income people are less likely to have health insurance, receive new drugs and technologies, and have ready access to primary and specialty care. So the process goes both ways, says McCall. Poor finances lead to poor health, and poor health leads to poor finances. So not everyone with financial challenges ends up anxious or ill. The best preventative medicine, experts say, is to address the money issues that do the most harm before they turn into a serious health threat. So if you're overwhelmed by student loans, consider switching from a standard 10-year payment schedule to an income-based plan that stretches payments over 20 to 25 years. That can be substantially lower the amount you owe each month. If you have big medical bills, call your healthcare provider to arrange more manageable payments. Do the same with credit card issuers and see if they'll lower your interest rate too. So just having one thing can help restore your sense of control, which can have huge health benefits, Fonte says. So financial shocks are a common trigger for money-related health issues, but few Americans have big enough rainy day funds to cover an unexpected $400 repair bill, let alone see them through a layoff or serious illness. So financial shocks are a common trigger for money-related health issues, but few Americans have a big enough rainy day funds to cover an unexpected $400 repair bill, let alone see them through a layoff or serious illness. And so one way to start saving is set up an automatic savings plan through your employer or bank and have a small amount deducted and sent to a dedicated emergency account every time you get paid. And having a chunk of cash set aside is the single greatest stress reducer in the event of financial mishap, McCullen says. Or meditate or work out, whatever helps you distress, before sitting down to pay bills and tackle other financial tasks. Participants in the 2024 Health Network study examined that the link between money and mental health mentioned exercising and mindfulness practices as techniques that help them feel calmer, think more clearly, and address triggers of their financial stress. So taking care of yourself will only help, Font says. Feeling better mentally bleeds over to your finances and helps you attack money challenges more effectively. So look, I want to thank you for watching. Please. Alright, look, as you know, that's the end of the video. That is money making you sick? So I know you love this video, so make sure you like, share, subscribe to JD's Network, the hottest channel on the planet if you have not already. I talk about fitness and everyday motivation, baby. Things you need in order to proceed. And look, if you like supporting the work I do, you can hit me on Cash App at $JustLove966. Alright, because we all saving lives. So look, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Other than that, I'll see you in the very next video. Peace out.